Well, happy Saturday, Las Vegas. It's Monique Buchanan, the host of the Welcome Home with Monique show. And guess what, you guys? By request, and I do mean a lot of requests, I have brought back on none other than Robert, the Mexico guy, okay? Hi, Robert. So glad you came back on the show.
Hey, Monique. I am so honored and privileged to be back. So many exciting things happening in my part of the world.
Yes, I know that's right. Because listen, brother, I'm over here like, listen, I need to get something over there in Mexico so I can twiddle my toes in the sand.
Oh, yeah. It's gorgeous down there.
It is. It's so beautiful. So for all of you out there that don't know, first and foremost, I'm Monique Buchanan. I am not only your local Las Vegas realtor, I can assist you in all 50 states. And guess what? In 24 countries. Hence, Mr. Robert here. He's part of, that Welcome Home team. He assists all my clients that are moving, buying properties in Mexico, or if they're investing in Mexico. He is boots on the ground, okay, making sure everything is done correctly, guiding you through those murky waters of real estate, in another country, and that's what we need. So once again, Monique Buchanan. You can reach me at 702-984-3700. But let's jump into the show. I'm so excited today because it's been about, 8 months since you've been on?
Yeah, about 8 months.
A lot has happened, right?
Definitely.
So you're picking up in business, I know.
Yes, definitely.
Now, your number one client right now, you were telling me, Mo, a lot of retirees are moving and buying properties, even if it's just investment vacation homes, or if they're moving. They're coming to Mexico. You want to kind of expand on that?
Sure. Yeah, I was looking at the latest statistics, and we have about 11,000 properties on the market currently here in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And half of those that are selling are actually retirees who no longer can afford to live here in Las Vegas because the cost of living has gone up and with inflation. And they're looking for a way out, at least part-time, to maximize their dollar. And what a lot of them are doing now is they're getting HELOCs on their properties that are already paid off here in Las Vegas, or using reverse mortgages, which allows them to buy cash in Mexico so they can go ahead and spend half their time in Mexico, get the big value for their dollar there. Hospitals there, cost of living is there, and then they can come back here and live also, or they can just rent their place out here in Vegas.
Right. So just so people that may not understand our real estate lingo, a HELOC, you guys, is when you own your property, you bought it, you purchase a property, and you're able to pull out some of that equity. And that meaning if you bought your property for $200,000 8 years ago, now you know that your house is worth $400,000. Well, that means that you have $200,000 worth of equity. You own that. That's yours, right?
Yes.
So what he's saying is that a lot of retirees either own their property outright here in the Valley, or if you even bought, 5 years ago, you're sitting on some pretty good equity. So you can do, or basically take out a loan, a lot of times up to 70 to 80% of that equity. So you could take maybe, if you have 200,000, let's just say that you could pull out 160,000. And that's what a lot of people are doing right now, is they're tapping into that unused equity that they're just sitting on, and it's not making them any more money by just sitting on it. And I mean, so I think that's a great thing, is not only are you purchasing something that's going to enrich your life by having a vacation home, or enrich your life by making those now very limited dollars stretch when you're retired, right? So now you're living like a king and queen, right? And you're also buying another asset that, yet again, you can leave to your children, right? Something that is tangible that also your children can go over and enjoy when you're back home here in Vegas.
Exactly. And the great thing about it is Mexico understands the market here in the United States. And now they're catering toward the senior community. Prior, they were catering primarily 80% to investors. But now they know there's a big expat population, a lot of retirees that need to afford a better cost of living. So they've invested billions of dollars in Riviera Maya for infrastructure with medical and healthcare and hospitals.
Now, let me ask you that. So that is probably one of the number one concerns, even for my husband. I said, babe, do you want to go ahead and retire early? He has an option where he can buy out some years. He said, well, we could do it, but then what will we do for medical? So I'm sure that there's a lot of people out here listening that maybe they're in a position to retire early. They'd love to, but it is a major concern when it comes to medical. And just on a side note, my daughter just moved to Albania 2 weeks ago. And that was my first question to her is, baby, what's going to happen if you get sick? And she says, Mom, it's private over here. It's cheap. I can just pay for it, hospitals even. So can you expand on the medical? What does that look like for an American citizen living in Mexico, and God forbid they fall ill?
Well, you have a couple of options. They do offer private insurance in Mexico.
Okay.
It pretty much covers everything. It's cheaper than it is here.
Wow.
Okay. The biggest problem they've had is the hospital infrastructure. Having big quality hospitals, for example, like they have in Mexico City or Guadalajara or even Mérida, they lack that in Riviera Maya. Okay. So currently they're building 4 major hospitals up and down Riviera Maya. Okay. They also are building a lot of satellite emergency room hospitals that will cater to broken bones and basic things that you would need.
So like the UMC Quick Care.
Exactly.
They're going to make a couple of those, and then they're going to have your big,
major hospitals. Yes.
your big, hospital. So real quick, just for people that don't know where this area of Mexico is, can you kind of expand on that?
Okay, if you're looking at a map of Florida, if you just go directly south, you're going to hit Cancun.
Okay.
That's the panhandle of Mexico on the bottom south end.
Okay.
And that's on the Caribbean side.
So right under Cancun.
Yep.
The coast of Cancun,
From Cancun
all the way down?
all the way down south. You'll go down as far south as Mahual, and that's where we are selling. Anywhere from Mahual all the way back up to Cancun.
So Tulum, some of these
Tulum's
places that
included
they've
right
heard
in the
of?
middle. Puerto Morelos, Playa del Carmen is big right now. So there's a lot of things you can do. If you want jungle living, we've got that. If you want city living, you have Playa del Carmen. If you want tourist living, you've got Cancun. So we've got pretty much all the bases covered.
Now, here's another question that, when I thought about buying out of the country, one of the things that I was looking at was ticket prices. Because if I'm going to be going often, where would I fly into? I would fly into Cancun. I know it's pretty reasonable to fly pretty much anywhere. Spirit Airline flies to Cancun.
Yep.
So that was a major one for me. About how far of a drive is it, let's just say, to some of those places from Cancun?
Well, the great news is this. We have Tulum International Airport that just opened up this past year. So you can fly directly from Vegas. Well, you'll fly and lay over in Mexico City. Okay. And then you'll fly directly into Tulum.
Nice.
So, and that's only about a 15-minute drive to Tulum itself. So you're saving a lot of time and money.
Yes, because last time you came on, that did not exist.
Yep.
And you brought it up and said there was also going to be like a train or something that was
Yes.
coming along.
We have the Mayan train that's fully functional now, going up and down Riviera Maya from Cancun all the way down to Bacalar and the southern area of Mexico, which is very affordable, and it cuts your time in half. So no more long driving.
Oh my goodness, that's a game changer. Okay, so if I live here in Vegas and I'm retired and I want to live it up for at least 6 months out the year, or even if I want to move down there, I have ways. I can directly fly into Tulum. I can directly fly into Cancun.
Yes.
And then I have a train that will take me to all the other.
Yes.
So we've got healthcare covered because the major hospitals are coming. But now, do I pay out of pocket?
Yeah, you can get health insurance for the whole year. But right now, I would say most of the people, since they're so close to the United States, the senior community, they're getting all their major work done here in the U.S.
They're just coming home.
Yeah, they're just coming home.
That makes
sense.
sense.
When they're there, if anything minor happens, they can get it taken care of with hospital doctors there and nurses are there.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just thinking about something too. Like if somebody has Medicaid or something, or Medicare, I always get those two. Yeah, I think if you're just doing it 6 months, I think you probably could still hold on to that. And don't quote me now. That's not what I do for a living, you guys. But I do have an elderly father that lives with me, and he does have that. And I remember he was traveling all around, bouncing from all of his kids, and they said something along those lines. So so that's something to think about too. So you could just pop back into the States.
And it's only, a 3-hour flight.
Yeah.
You come back home and then get your medicals taken care of and then go back.
Yeah, like if I was a couple that's listening, one of my wonderful listeners out there that's retired, and they're thinking, okay, you know what, babe, we could do this. Maybe they're married, maybe they're not, maybe they're single, maybe they just want like a 2-bedroom condo, right? Very near the beach where they could walk. What is that looking like for them?
Right now, we've got 2-bedroom condos in the low 200s right now, say between 200 to 220.
Okay.
You can get a 2-bedroom condo that's actually a lock-off, where they can live in one of the condos, and then they'll have a separation door that they can lock and rent the other side. So they can have an income stream coming in while they're living there for 6 months or there permanently. So that's a win-win. That's what a lot of developers are now doing, and that'll be in Playa del Carmen. In Tulum, we have the same offer. However, in Tulum, you're going to be further away from the beach. So it's not going to be really walking distance. So a lot of the retirees are heading toward Playa del Carmen.
I love that. So basically, what you're telling me is that it's a 2-bedroom, but so I'm trying to imagine this. So I'm imagining that it's set up like a little hotel with a kitchenette.
Yes.
So it has its own bathroom, it has a kitchenette, and then it has a room.
Yep.
And it's some kind of an area for
it's just
your
like a
living
hotel.
room. Like a hotel.
Yep. That'll be the lock-off.
And then, but you own both units, obviously.
Yes, there's a door in between.
Like the hotel.
Both units, like a hotel. Just like if you go to any hotel, they have a lock-off where the center door is open and you have full usage of the 2-bedroom
But each side
villa.
is fully functional.
Exactly. The one main side will have a full kitchen.
Okay.
The other side will have a little kitchenette.
A kitchenette.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, for renters,
that's a game
short-term rentals.
changer.
Yeah.
Well, you just got me excited because that's within walking distance to the.
If you're in Playa del Carmen, we've got developments that are about 2 blocks away from the beach. So you can come outside, walk downstairs to Starbucks, go have breakfast at a little coffee shop, walk another block, and you're right there on the sand.
Okay, guys. So I don't know if you're hearing this, but once again, Robert, the Mexico guy, and he is just letting you guys know that there is so much opportunity out there, and you don't even have to be retired for that. Because I'm in my investor mindset now. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, me and my family can enjoy that. And once again, if you're interested or you want to speak to Robert directly and get more, questions answered, 702-984-3700, 702-984-3700. WelcomeHomeWithMonique.com is my website, but I will get you into the hands of Robert and he will go over all your options, one-on-one. But let's go back to that real quick. That brings us to our next point. The second largest interest is the investors.
Yes.
And I totally see why, right? So that was just one example of how you can have an investment property down there. You can be Airbnb-ing the one side out, and it could pretty much be paying your mortgage, if not more.
Yes.
I mean.
Yeah. And what I try to stress to clients right now, if you're going to invest in Tulum, for a good ROI, you're going to want to buy a 2-bedroom unit on up because they have a saturation of studio units. So I basically look after my investors. I want them to have a nice ROI. So right now the market is flooded with studios, so you can go to an Airbnb, a studio unit in Tulum, but they're really not nice developments. But if you get a 2-bedroom unit on up, you can make a higher nightly rate because more people want to go with their families.
Right.
And what's big right now are 3-bedroom units that people are purchasing for about $300,000 to $350,000. Again, these are lockoffs. So you can stay in one and you can rent the other 2 off. I mean, there's so many opportunities. And what's great is there are not a lot of these 3-bedroom unit lockoffs, but my developers are now starting to build because they know they don't want to touch the studio units. And it's a great market down there in Tulum. And in Playa del Carmen, studios are still doing well because you're so close to the beach.
Because you're just so... Now, how much does a studio run?
A studio right now in Playa del Carmen, we have some that are starting as low as about $150,000.
Okay.
So, and these are fully furnished. And property taxes are 0.1% in Mexico.
No, you meant to say 10% at least.
No, 0.1%. It's negligible. They want the tourist dollar. Wow. They make more money on tourism than they do on taxes.
So basically like next to nothing for taxes.
Exactly.
So your only real expense is the HOA. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, now let me ask you these questions. We're going to get back into that investor thing. But let me just back it on up because I've got some listeners out there. I can just hear you guys now. You know we're in sync, right? Been harassing y'all for 4 years, so now we're in sync. I can just hear you guys talking to me right now going, Monique, what about losing my property? What about the security of me purchasing out there? I heard back in the day, it was, you couldn't even buy over there. You want to touch on that?
Sure. What happened about 15 years ago in Ensenada, Mexico, some developers came in, bought some land, so they thought. They built about 300 homes on the land, sold it to Americans. They all moved in. A year later, a little Mexican guy showed up with the federal police and confiscated all the properties. It was his land. Nobody did their due diligence.
Oh, no.
Because of that, the Mexican government, they had egg all over their face. So what they did is they instilled what's called a fideicomiso, which is a bank trust. Any foreigner is allowed to own the land and buy property in Mexico. All they require is that you use one of their local banks to put a stamp on the title. Basically, the bank is going to reassure with their lawyers that the property is free and clear to protect you so the government doesn't look bad again.
Okay.
So that's reinforcement for you. So you can own the property, deed it to your kids, do whatever you want with it, resell it. It belongs to you. And it's for 50 years.
Okay.
At the end of 50 years, you just renew with the bank, and then it'll go for another 50 years.
So in other words, it's basically like now they're using, and for us over here to understand, it's like now the properties are going through the title company.
It's a bank trust, yes.
They just call it a bank trust. So it's just like when you buy a property here, the title company runs their search, makes sure you're getting a clean, unclouded title,
Yes.
no liens against the property, it's free and clear. And then what they're saying is every 50 years, you could put your property in a trust over there as well. Is that correct? So then maybe you have it in a trust. So God forbid you pass away. Now your child who you've elected can just go ahead and do the payment and have it for another 50 years.
Yep.
So they just have to make sure they stay on top
It's
of that every
ongoing
50
to
years.
perpetuity. It doesn't end.
It never ends.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that's too much to ask.
No. And it's a great thing because that makes everybody feel safe and secure, because a lot of this came up with people hearing horror stories on the internet. And by the way, your viewers should not follow the internet. Yeah. They only promote the negative, nothing about the positive. But right now, I would say 50% of the buyers currently in Riviera Maya are from the States. And about 30% are from Canada, and the rest are from throughout Europe.
You know what I'll say to that is early bird gets the worm, whoever gets there early. So this sounds like you're letting us know early that this is where everybody's heading. Yeah. So.
Exactly. And your viewers should also understand 80 to 90% of the so-called agents that they will see on Google when they look for Google searches on Mexico property or condos, they are not licensed.
Beware, you guys. Don't fall into that trap. Yeah. That's why I'm bringing you Robert. Robert is a licensed realtor, not only he's licensed here in the States, and he takes, his sworn duty and due diligence and carries it over to Mexico. So you want to make sure that you have somebody reputable who has his active license here, and that, can represent you there and have your best interests at heart.
And I also have my license in Mexico, and I'm a member of AMPI, which is comparable to NAR here.
Oh, okay. So there you go. So that's, and that's a big deal, because anybody can just jump on and say, hey, I'm a realtor.
Exactly.
Put on a cute little outfit and pretend like they're...
Exactly. And with me, I'm more concerned about educating your clients.
Yes.
They don't have to buy through me, but I have a warm heart where I don't want to see people get hurt, especially buying their...
Well, let me just stop you. This, and we're both on the same page when it comes to that, but I would hope that if we are caring enough about them to share this information with them, that they would be honorable and use the person that told them the good information.
Exactly.
So I believe my listeners would.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to take all this great information you're telling me and then turn around and use somebody that did not tell me none of this.
Yep, and it happens. It happens.
Does,
and then they call me back after because they had problems.
And say, can you get me out of the mess? Robert, I love people, but that's what they do.
I know.
Say, well, why didn't you call me in the first place?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I got a cousin's friend to the bakery, and and he just got his license. Well, anyways, that's a whole nother topic, you guys.
Exactly.
But we care about you guys, and that's why we have the show. That's why we partnered up, because I know that you'll send them pictures if they're having something built, your boots on the ground. You actually go over there and make sure that the contractors, you have a relationship with the contractors.
Yeah, I actually have a place down in Playa del Carmen, so I'm there at least 1 to 2 weeks every month.
Oh, your job is so hard.
And what I do every 30 days for my investors who buy there is they get an updated video on the construction of their projects. Most realtors, they'll get their commission and they'll walk away. They never want to talk to you again. I'm all about repeat business and referral business.
Yes.
So just out of common courtesy, and it educates myself too. So I see what the builders are doing, the developments. I'm walking through the construction sites with a hard hat.
You're learning a lot.
Sending it to the clients so they feel more secure. And they're sending me referrals. They're sending me their clients and clients.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win for everybody.
You're going above and beyond, Robert, So let's talk about funding. So not everybody has cash. Now, a lot of the listeners will have, like we said, they can use that HELOC. That's a loan that they could pull out some of their equity and just go over there and buy it cash. Or they can, if they don't want to live here anymore, I can list their property, sell it. They can take the money and go reinvest. They can buy a couple of those units and have one of them just completely producing income from Airbnb or renting it out, however. And so we can sell, we can do a HELOC. Or is there a
reverse mortgage?
Or a reverse mortgage. That's another great one. That's a great one. Now, with that one, I believe you could only do the 6 months, because I do know you have to live in the property.
Exactly.
So that one, you'd have to just do 6 months Mexico, 6 months here, which is great, you know. and to be able to pull all those funds and not have a mortgage on your home in America, but be able to pull out cash to buy in Mexico, because that's how a reverse mortgage works.
Yep.
No more mortgage payment in America.
Exactly.
And
And
then
you're making passive income on
There
the
you
rentals
go.
when you're not there.
Hello. You know what I mean? and get this too. When you pass away, they will take whatever you owe, but whatever's left goes to your kids. So, so a lot of people, that's a whole nother story about reverse mortgage. A lot of people hear myths that are not true about it.
Exactly. Things have changed.
It's such a blessing if they would just take the time. And again, 702-984-3700, 702-984-3700. If you guys have questions about reverse mortgages, because that's such a blessing, I will get you in the hands of someone that can really explain that to you. Or if you're interested in purchasing or learning more about Mexico, 702-984-3700. Now, funding. Do we have any options as Americans to get any kind of funding?
Yes, I deal directly with two companies. One is based in here in the United States, and the other one is based in Mexico. Their interest rates are going to be higher than what you're paying here. However, but if the numbers work, it works.
Can I say something real quick? Just that I just said that out loud, you guys, just to give you some, some context. I am paying right now, I'm buying another investment property, and it's around the purchase price of what you spoke on. In fact, I'm paying $180,000 for it. Guess what, guys? My interest rate is 9%, and my monthly payment, because it's such a low amount, is $1,300 a month at 9%. So that lets you know this is very doable, yes. Right? But go ahead and expand on your companies that do offer some funding for my listeners that are thinking, hey, I'd love to by the beach in Mexico.
Yeah, and what happens is the companies that I deal with, they'll get your clients pre-qualified in as little as 24 to 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
And most of the time, all they require are bank statements. Okay. They don't need your tax returns. You don't have to have an outstanding credit rating. So I'm getting people approved, and they work directly with my clients. I'm not involved with these lenders at all. They're just friends of mine who I work with. And I give them a lot of business, so they know they take care of the clients, and they're very honest. They get back to you on a timely basis, and they get your buyers pre-qualified up front. And if one of your buyers is interested in, say, a 2-bedroom unit that's $220,000, the mortgage company there in Mexico already knows about all the developers and all the builders. So they've already pre-vetted a lot of these builders, and I only deal with 4 or 5 builders there that all have over 50 years experience building in Mexico.
Oh, that's good.
So these mortgage companies feel very comfortable working with our clients.
Okay, so how do they do like the paperwork per se? Like is it just all done electronically like we do here?
Everything is done electronically, primarily by email or by WhatsApp.
Okay.
So basically, the way the process works is if one of your clients wants to go ahead and purchase a property in Mexico, they'll go ahead and pick a location, pick a property. All that's required initially is a reservation fee. For as little as $1,000, they can reserve a unit.
Okay.
They'll then have 15 working days to do their due diligence. They call you, they call me. They fly down there, take a look at the development or what the developer has already built. And once they feel safe and secure doing their due diligence, then we'll generate a purchase contract at the end of the 15 days. At the end of that purchase contract, both sides sign, and a 30% deposit is required. That's flat out with every builder in Mexico.
Right.
Once they leave their 30% deposit, the balance can be paid in equal monthly installments, or a lot of people are paying 70% upon the receipt of their keys. And the benefit of that is, at that point in time, a lot of our investors are reselling. They're not even taking possession of their property. They're flipping the paper.
Oh, wow.
It's basically they're flipping the property, because there's a lot of investors who want to say, Robert, I want to buy a property so I can put on Airbnb next month. They don't want to wait for pre-construction.
Right.
So now my buyers who bought pre-construction at friends and family pricing, which is about 40 to 50% under the current market value, they'll call me and say, can you resell it? And I've got a list of investors who want to buy so they can rent it out right away.
Wow.
So it's a win-win for everybody.
They get their property. Okay, so pre-construction takes about how long?
Anywhere between 12 to 18 months.
Okay.
But we also have properties, for example, that were launched about a year ago, and they're finishing up in the next 6 months.
Now, how much will those be selling for?
Those right now I can still get pretty decent prices on. And it's mainly because they'll market it every so many properties they sell in that development, they'll increase the price like anywhere else. But with me, since I give them so much business, I can fudge the pricing back to where it was more like friends and family pricing. So you're
Okay.
still getting a great investment. And even in 6 months when you take delivery, you still have 25% equity already built in.
You can't find that deal hardly.
No.
So wait, let's back up to the just so I understand the financing. So you're saying 30% down.
Yes.
12 to 18 months later, you're expected to bring that the rest of the 70%. So
Yes.
it's not that it's really being financed. You're basically just holding the property
Exactly.
like a deposit
Yeah.
of 30%. And then you go ahead and get the rest of that money together,
Yep.
come back and pay us the rest. But now there is actual financing that you have some people that are talking about trying to actually do financing.
And that's what they're doing on the 70%. So the mortgage companies that I use, they'll finance the 70%. When you take delivery. So basically, all out of pocket for you is going to be the 30%.
Oh, I didn't understand
And
that.
then
Okay.
when you're going to receive the keys, you're already pre-qualified by the lender that we have.
Right.
And they're going to fund the 70% for you. And then you'll have a mortgage with that lender for 15 to 20 years.
Okay, so just like in the States,
Exactly.
that's what I thought. I missed it. Okay, so then, yes, so then it's exactly like the States. The only thing is you're doing 30% down, like as
Yep.
if you were an investor here in the States. So it's
Yes.
the same. So then when you take the keys, you have your monthly mortgage.
Exactly.
Maybe it's $1,200, whatever. Oh, okay. So you have access to actual financing for Mexico properties.
Exactly.
As long as you have that 30%, you don't even need great credit. You just need the money,
Amen.
the
Yeah.
down payment, honey. Because, you don't even need the credit. They don't really go off of that. They said, just bring me the 30% and we'll get the ball rolling.
And all they do is check your bank statements to verify that you do have income in the bank. And that's it.
What kind of reserves are they looking for in the bank?
I couldn't specifically answer that myself because I'm not the lender.
Right.
But the lender will work directly with them and let them know.
But
And
we
they'll-
can get you in the hands of the
Yes.
lender and they can go over. So Robert can get you in the hands of the lender and let them go over all of that with you. So the show went by so fast.
Oh, it's already over.
Yes, we only have 2 minutes. And I'm like, I still have so many questions, Robert. But if you're just like me and you still have all these questions and you're hyped up, you're excited, you want to talk to Robert and get these, questions answered. Who doesn't want to live in Mexico? Who doesn't want to have a beachfront property? I know I do. So, so anyways, once again, his number, 702-984-3700. I will get you with Robert. 702-984-3700. You can also just text me, interested in Mexico, and leave me your first and last name, and I will get you in the hands of Robert, okay? 702-984-3700. You've got investors. If you're interested, you heard him, you're walking in with equity. You can even just flip the paper and make the money that way if you're patient and want to just sit on it. My retirees, you've got health, coverage over there at a much lower cost, or you can always just pop back into the States and take care of it.
Yes.
And just know that you have a home in Mexico that your kids could use while you're not there. You can use. And for under $200,000.
Yes.
Airbnb opportunities. And now, you're one of the first people that are still, like you said, the lid is not completely off yet.
No.
And that's where the money's at, when you're there before everybody else. So, Robert, thank you so much for coming on and enlightening my wonderful listeners.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, and have a blessed Saturday, everybody.